Welcome back to Beards and Brews. Hey, if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe or follow no matter where you're listening. Not only does it help us out, but you'll know exactly when we have another one brewing. Speaking of fellas, this is Brewed Up episode number 200.
Dude, think about it. Episode 200, from Tombstone to the tombstone of a franchise.
Ooh, and that particular franchise, a little near and dear to my heart, The Mummy. And unfortunately, we're covering Tomb of the Dragon Emperor. What do you guys think?
Mummy 3, The Diminished Return. Or as you said, Clay Fighter.
Oh, yeah. No, I dig that. You have like Mummy Returns and just Diminished Returns.
Yes.
You know, before you guys put this up on the list, I didn't know this movie existed. And I'll tell you again, like, I don't have any particular association with The Mummy, didn't really grow up with it, probably saw it once back in the day, but, like, this wasn't that bad to me. Yeah.
No, I totally get it. And even though the first movie is, like, near and dear to my heart and, like, a million other people, I think the main critique of this one in particular, it just seems like 2 hours of character assassination. And you know what? I took it personally.
You know, it took a big shit in my floor. And it said, look, it's a clay mummy.
Now, okay, this has a 13%, I think it was, on Rotten Tomatoes, so I was expecting a lot worse. Specifically, I was expecting a lot of really awful CGI from 2008. Like, we got a lot of really bad CGI in The Mummy Returns, right?
Yeah. It's pretty rough,
and
yeah.
I think they learned their lesson on that and was just like, let's dial it back a little bit, boys. Let's dial it back.
Whoa. Hang on. You think they said dial it back? Because by the end of this movie, Shang Tsung is transforming into shit that I couldn't even tell what the fuck it was.
Oh, yeah. There's still that. Yeah. I don't know what that thing was. I'm just imagining that group of scarabs, that swarm, just becoming a human being or whatever, and it looking straight out of a PlayStation 1 video game. There's none of that here.
That's actually something the movie would totally do. I think through most of the runtime, like, when it comes to just, like, legacy characters, the movie will just be like, hey, you remember that one thing? We just said it. Aren't you happy? So having, like, a scarab man as the final boss, I think would have probably made me feel just a little bit better.
Dude, I'm telling you, anything could have been better than the final showdown involving Max and one of the wild things from Where the Wild Things Are.
Well, they had to let the wild rumpus start, you know?
Facts.
Well, let's start from the top. We covered the first Mummy, the second Mummy. If you haven't seen those, look them up. This one in particular is quite the departure. Like, this one was made 6-7 years after the fact. And you can kind of notice, like, things that are positive. One, the cinematography is actually very good. The overall just... No, that's not good either. Hang on.
They got Michelle Yeoh and Jet Li.
You know what? They got Michelle Yeoh and Jet Li. That's kind of it. I was actually kind of digging kind of deep, giving this movie the benefit of the doubt, but no, I can't think of too much. All the characters that I used to like, they suck. Characters that I didn't like, they suck worse. And to beat it all, the pacing in this movie is god fucking awful. Like, I used to think this was like a really smooth kind of adventure series. This was like, hey, get in the ride, we're going, and then the bar slaps down and I can't get off.
That sounds about right. But I did wonder why, since they would have paid money to have Jet Li spends 3/4 of the film as not Jet Li.
Yeah, that's true. Like, Michelle Yeoh is in this for like 10 minutes until, I don't know, the last, let's say, another 20 minutes. So total of a half hour of this movie is where they got Michelle Yeoh. And really Jet Li too, but a little bit less so.
It's pretty rough in that regard. Like, even the people that returned, you know, like Brandon Fraser, the guy who played Jonathan, he's been in a bunch of stuff. He was even in that Last of Us show. Great stuff. It just seems like they're just shadows of their former selves because, you know, the elephant in the room is going to be Evie. They recast the character, which, if you look it up, like, Rachel Weisz was pregnant at the time. It was a whole thing. Like, none of that's her fault. But, man.
Oh, I didn't know that.
The woman they replaced her with is such a black hole. Like, every time she's in a scene, the soul is just sucked out of it.
Like, they introduce her character at the beginning, and like I said, I'm not big into this series at all. It's been a while since I've seen one of them. So when they introduce her, I'm like, oh, is this, another Brendan Fraser girl, a la Willie from the Temple of Doom's, the Indiana Jones series, something like that, Nope, that's actually supposed to be the Marion Ravenwood of this series. Okay, this ain't gonna work, is it?
Dude, okay. The unveiling of Not Rachel Weisz was incredible because you hear a voiceover going on discussing the previous mummy adventures and, like a reading from a book, and you're excited, you're ready. I forgot that she was recast. It's been forever since I've seen this. And they even do this little cool thing to where as the person's talking, you get the Mummy 1, the book, the Mummy 2, the book. So how do you feel after all these adventures? And it pans up and it reveals this new actress, and she goes, you know what? I feel like a completely different person. And you kind of chuckle at that, and it's a very, very strong introduction, and that is the most charisma you get out of this woman for the entirety of the movie. The rest of the time, it's just a coyote ugly performance.
It's really clever, too. Like, I'll give the movie that. Like, they handled that one specific moment as well as you could. And to agree with you even further, the rest doesn't.
Yeah, even Brendan Fraser, who can have charisma on screen, hugging a fart, working in Monkey Bone, or like fucking Bedazzled and shit like that. He can't even do a love scene with this lady that seems convincing. She wants the fucking O'Connell D the entire film, and he won't even give her a smooch until the last second of the film. And even then, he's like, ugh.
Well, there's the one scene where he's trying. He's like, you wanna do some stuff, like, I don't know, talking to like I don't know,
that one
high school kid or something.
That one small moment where Brendan Fraser's like, hey, I guess you want to ride on the old Rick-a-Dick, I guess. I don't know.
Since we're on Brendan Fraser's character, one of the biggest drawbacks of this movie for me, and I think I probably ended up liking it better than either one of you, I don't know, he's not in this movie enough.
Yeah.
We spend way too much time with his son. Was his son in other movies, or is he brand new?
Yeah, he was in the second one, but he was like real small. He was a little kid. And to be fair, he was a little annoying in that movie too. But the degree, the fucking gall, the fucking balls this boy has in this movie is just like maddening. It's so annoying.
I don't think he's awful, but I don't think he's good.
He feels more like he's trying to be in a James Bond film than he does in The Mummy.
In my eyes, it kind of felt like the movie was trying to rest on this kid, like a passing of the torch or something, but it completely ignores everything else. But everything else is not what we came to see.
Yeah, to me, that's definitely the vibe that I got, but also got a little bit of vibe that, like, he's already anticipating the amount of pussy that he's going to get from this role, that he's just, like, he can't do anything else with the character.
Yeah, the ego was strong, too. He was walking around the set just, like, chest out and everything. Just like, hey,
yeah,
it's me.
Yeah.
Now, if we want to touch on the movie, what we get is Jet Li as Emperor Exposition, because he's going to spend the first 20 minutes of this movie telling us about his evil fucking plan. This is a 2-hour runtime, by the way. And what is his evil plan? Of course, defeat death, get immortality, and, reign communism upon the world. That's what he's going to do. And he needs a witch and her bamboo Namicon to do it.
I call that the Book of Bone.
No.
Nice.
Yep.
Bone book. Well, here's a question. Like, there is the prologue, it gives you all the ancient backstory and why this is exactly a mummy TM movie. Fine. But, like, for some reason, I was getting this, like, vibe of, like, a little bit of silliness. And it kind of shouldn't. I
just was so put off by, honestly, Jet Li. Like, he's doing his martial arts, which is all good and well. But I didn't have anything for him. I didn't care. Like, I got 20 plus minutes of the opening of this film that I came to see Brendan Fraser be goofy and, a watered down yet still very lovable Indiana Jones. And you're making me sit through Jet Li Unleashed part fucking 6, and I don't care.
Yeah, I was going to say something at some point. I know I brought his name up as a high point in this movie. Like, yeah, they've got Jet Li in this one. He could have been replaced by fucking anyone.
Yeah. And as we mentioned earlier, like, he's not just, like, barely in the movie character-wise, but, like, 90% of his scenes he's CG'd over anyways. So he might as well not have been in the movie.
Just sitting on a horse. That's not what you get Jet Li to do.
No, he throws a couple daggers and stabs a dude with a sword, and then does not have a tiny mustache.
At one point, he throws a CD-ROM across the room.
That's Hellraiser 3.
Yeah. It caught me off guard. I was like, was there a CD in this movie?
No, like I don't know what it's supposed to be, honestly, but it looks like a compact
shuriken.
Yeah, sure. Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, let's go with that.
On that note, actually, I have to bring up, like, he does have, like, these specialized weapons. He does have his old-fashioned kung fu, what have you, and he has this massive army. At no point in this movie did I think he was an absolute threat.
Yeah,
no.
He's kind of got this, the Night King vibe, but really he's just a dude.
No, I couldn't get scared of him. I mean, you guys are hitting it right on the fucking head. Jet Li wants to be immortal. He fails because his general and his witchy lady decide that they're going to bang it out. And he's like, oh, immortal betrayal. That's it. Now I got my immortality. She's like, fuck you, boy. You're cursed. You're pottery now. Fucking Patrick Swayze going to handle you with Demi Moore.
Ghosted him.
Exactly. They're like, he's going to come back. He's going to kill us all with his pottery army.
Yep.
No, you're absolutely right. And on top of that, the movie doesn't even lean towards him at all. Because, like, it almost feels like Jet Li being the antagonist is just a nuisance in the movie. Like, the movie's like, oh, fine, I guess we gotta show what he's up to, because otherwise it'll just be annoyed Brandon Fraser for 2 hours.
Yes. Think about it. There was no threat. Once, I know we're jumping way to the end, there's the final big Marvel CGI shit showdown between Glob Army 1 versus Glob Army 2. But fucking Domina from Spartacus shows up, and he's got a plane, and he's got a machine gun, and he kills half of the Terracotta Army in like 2 fucking seconds. It's no threat.
Yeah, like we're skipping way ahead here, but you're right. Like when you get like this giant clay army amassed, and okay, they look menacing. There's probably tens of thousands of them, but our team has machine guns.
Game over, man.
Yeah.
Game over.
Yeah.
No, totally. It's another reason that compiles on to, like, Jet Li as the bad guy. You're just like, that's just Jet Li. Enjoy the paycheck, man. Just like, it's not even your fault, buddy. We love you.
That's our bad guy. But man, oh man, when we finally get lovable Brendan Fraser, what is he doing? He's trying to learn how to fish.
Doing what I would do too if I didn't have any adventures to go on.
This might be a little bit of a hyperbole, but like seeing Brendan Fraser like goof around with the whole fishing thing at the beginning, it's like, okay, cool. He's still that goofy, lovable adventurer guy, but the movie kind of takes that a little further into the realm of like, oh, he's just kind of stupid. You know, he's just like that goofy background character now, and all he does is reference that he was in the first 2 movies.
Yeah.
It was the same mummy twice.
There's a few moments like that, but they do give him his comeuppance here. He's trying to catch these fish. He can't do it with the fishing pole, so what's he do? He fucking whips out the gat. He pulls a tombstone, and he's like, no. And he just starts shooting the goddamn fish. Solid scene.
Yeah, those fish didn't know that good old Connell, he knows how to smoke a skin wagon.
Slaps fucking Billy Bob in the face.
I don't know what that's supposed to be insinuating, but it sounds nasty.
I don't know. Fuck, man. He's just putting the bulge on him, that's for sure.
Well, he ends up going home with a treble hook in his neck, don't he? He's supposed to be that like incapable.
That's why I mentioned earlier, like it felt like a character assassination, because like yes, he's witty, he's goofy, he's got some fucking jokes when he needs them, but he's also that like really cunning adventurer kind of guy. So like see him just like fumbling around, I'm just like, I guess, like I don't need to know what he does on his free time to that degree, you know? It's almost like I caught up with him trying to like tie his shoe and he forgot to do the whole loop it, swoop it, pull bit.
Kind of feels like if I would go on an adventure, you know, like something I'm really hyped and excited about, but I'm probably not very good at it. That's what it feels like with him right now. I know that's not who he is because I've seen the first 2. It's just the vibe that I'm getting.
You get that juxtaposed against his son, who is over in, where is he, China or something? And he...
China.
Yeah.
China.
He's over there digging up fucking lost civilizations. He's trying to find the Terracotta Army. And He finds men harder than Chandler the first time he watched Sucker Punch.
Oh, yeah, guys, do I come off as the horny one? I don't really intend to come off as the horny one of this group, if that's a thing. It's just, I mean, you've seen that movie, golly.
Audience, let us know in the comment section. Is Chandler the horniest?
One thing I do want to mention, just in case it gets us onto the algorithm, I'm pretty sure his mansion is exactly where Taylor Swift filmed her video for Blank Space. So,
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Perfect. I can put that in the tags now.
yeah.
Oh, shit. What do we get to see here, gentlemen? Booty twaps. And it's not the first time here on Beards and Brews.
We're in China with Brendan Fraser's very overconfident son.
Yeah, and he's trailblazing for sure, making sure all the help does all the shit that he needs to do.
Dude, that's a fact. He's like, hey there, you guy. Fall into that pit and get gassed.
Yep.
I haven't seen anybody melt. My dad says it's real cool.
That gas that dude gets is almost as bad as the fart I let during From Dusk Till Dawn. It's timestamped, y'all. Check it out.
1611, I hear.
Yeah. So the next thing I have is Bill O'Reilly does some stupid shit.
That's one thing I couldn't get along with. Is just like there's this constant feed of new characters. Like I know like the legacy characters kind of have their spot and they have to build on that, but like it's almost like that dude from Indy 4. He's just like, oh Jonesy, we've been together forever, and you're like, who the fuck is that?
Yes.
Yeah, but this guy basically looks just like Bill O'Reilly, and he's only there to, do a twist.
To do exactly what happens in Crystal Skull. It's beat for beat, pretty much. As they're trying to break into this tomb, ninjas appear to protect it.
Yeah.
They didn't check the closets.
There's always ninjas in the closet.
Oh, but yeah, they activate a couple of switches, as you do when you're in a 3,000-year-old tomb. They drop down, some shit happens, some people get knocked out or something, and a ninja shows up to save the day, right?
100%.
Actually, now that I think of it, I think the ninjas were supposed to be some kind of replacement for the Magi. That Egyptian secret group from the first two.
There's only
Okay.
There's only one.
It's okay to only have one ninja. This one is real cute.
Well, you can't fight crime unless you're cute.
These are facts. That's why there's that mini love story that feels so forced. Way later, right before the Yetis appear. Yeah, there's Yetis.
Hey, we got a dude in this movie, and we got a girl, and they ain't bone yet. We should insinuate that they gonna.
There hasn't been anything for an hour and a half to give me a hard on. Give me some fucking Yetis.
So
baby.
Are you shipping Alex and the Yeti?
Oh,
I can get down with that.
look,
I'm not against that.
Now, are we talking Abominable Snowman or the cooler?
No, if anybody needs a cooler, that's going to be Brendan Fraser. Got to hide in it from the nuclear holocaust.
Quit it.
Yeah. But no, the real shipping needs to be Jonathan and a Yeti, right?
I feel like they'd be buds, yeah. He'd probably use the Yeti, best friend him, like, hey, you know what we could do? Fucking rob people. And they do.
Take him with him to Peru.
That would have been a better, solid second act.
I just want the spinoff with Jonathan and a Yeti in Peru now, honestly.
Make it happen.
Peruvian Sasquatch.
Ooh.
Okay. All right. They got one of those little bowler hats that they wear down there in the Andes, and they're all chewing on coca leaves. You don't want to see that Yeti when he's high on cocaine.
The tagline is, you ain't seen nothing Yeti.
Ooh.
Oh, a Danny DeVito story.
So, where are we at in this movie?
So they discover the army down there, and you're like, I don't care. And then suddenly it shoots back to fucking Brendan Fraser and his woman, and they're like, we can't get turned on because we need an adventure. And this guy's like, hey, how about you take this MacGuffin over to your kid so we can get y'all all together for the next act of the movie? And they say, bet.
They say, well, we said we wouldn't, but you wanna? Yeah. All right, we'll do it.
What if I ask real nicely?
Fucking Encino Man can't say no.
Yeah. They fucking jump at the opportunity. They're like, listen, we're real bored. We ain't got shit to do. I suck at fly fishing. Let's go to China.
I kind of wish the movie would have taken the opportunity to dump Evie at this point. You know, like, oh, I can't go. I've got to teach at Cambridge Scholars and some shit. I'd be like, cool, fuck off.
I've got my book tour. That's all you had to say.
Book tour.
Yeah.
Wow, yeah.
I like it.
So the next character that I see introduced is like some kind of a Chinese general guy who, last I remember, this guy was Latino and playing a character on Dexter.
Well, you know, things were a lot different in the 1940s? Where are we? I don't know.
1947.
Oh, perfect. World War II's just breezed by. No one even remembers it. That's fine.
Yeah, they talk about it. They're like, things were a lot more fun back in the war times, right? We had Hitler and shit. It was fun.
See, you can't do that. There are like some cardinal rules to movies. One, never mention a better movie in your movie, and two, never mention anything more interesting than what's in your movie. I would love to see Brandon Fraser and the real Evie, Rachel Weisz, just going around and punching the fuck out of Nazis. We could have a scene like Last Crusade where he bumps into Hitler, but instead of like getting that cool autograph, he just fucking knocks him the fuck out.
Could you imagine that? The Mummy 3, instead of, fighting the fucking pottery Hitler, he fights real Hitler, but Hitler does like some crazy shit because they're into the occult and turns himself into some kind of like not mummy, but some sort of supernatural creature, and Brendan Fraser and Rachel Weisz have to battle it, and they're still Yetis.
That Mecha Hitler from Hellboy.
Yes.
That's what he's got to fight.
Ultra Mega Chicken.
Dude,
yep.
The fact that we brewed this up in a whole 2 minutes and we're already jazzed about it tells you how fucking flat this movie is.
No, this movie's not flat. It's not flat, okay? It's highly carbonated, and you can tell by the mug root beer gang that they run into next.
I said this movie wasn't bad. I didn't say that it was entertaining.
But if you're wondering what I meant by the mug root beer gang, they go to fucking China, wherever they're at over there. They go to their boy's bar, and there's Davos Seaworth, and he's like, look at the back of my coat. It's the mug root beer logo, and this is my gang. And you'll never hear from them again.
No, he comes back to fly a plane at some point, and that's all the screen time he gets.
That was him?
Well,
I couldn't tell. Yeah. They put all that shit on his face.
Well, I gotta chalk it up to just like another instance of just a disposable character. Why didn't they just use that dude from the second one who built a blimp in his spare time? That would have made so much sense.
Because that guy would not have started a Zoot Suit riot in that club.
You're right.
So who's throwing back a bottle of root beer?
George of the Jungle.
Oh, yeah, there is a Tarzan swing going on here in a minute. Yeah, we're just talking shit about a bunch of other stuff because the shit in this movie doesn't matter at this point. I've got like 6 pages of notes. Okay, like the Emperor, becomes animated again and he escapes on a chariot and there's a chase and a big old firework. No, it doesn't matter. Can we skip it?
Things are happening. Yeah. This is Act 2.
I do have that Brendan Fraser steals a mummy horse at one point, so that's fun.
Not like we're just looking through stuff like this. Yeah, that happened. Okay.
Yeah, there are events. None of them matter, but they are events.
Yeah, we get another classic betrayal, and you got Alex, the not son of O'Connell, Mutt O'Connell, trying his best Pierce Brosnan Bond, and he teams up with fucking Ninja Minaj to save the day.
Yeah, it's the movie's attempt to just kind of like delegate itself a little bit. You got the classic you got Brandon and some dumb bitch doing something. You got these two doing something. And plot A and B are eventually going to come back together. But, like you said, Chan Man, none of this shit matters. The way the movie's paced, like from the end of Act 1 all the way to the middle of Act 3, it's so rapid fire. It feels like I'm watching Sky Captain and the World of Bullshit.
I have that.
I have it. It's like fucking... No, I'm dead serious. Like, it feels like location for a minute. You don't get time to feel like you're going on this globe-trotting adventure because you're just there.
You're right about that. It's like, oh, snap, I'm immediately in Shanghai. All right, event happened. Snap, we're in the Himalayas now.
Dude.
Yeah, it's like, our costumes changed.
Shangri-La. Like, no one has ever fucking found it. It's this legendary place. Even people who don't know what Shangri-La is know how hard it is to find. And this chick's like, yeah, I know where it's at. Don't worry about it.
And coincidentally, also how it happened in Sky Captain in the World of Tomorrow. It's like, yeah,
Yep.
there it is. Found it, guys. Wasn't that tough.
You know what's great about adventure movies? Not adventuring.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah.
But you know what? I just thought of a connection. So, in the first movie, Brandon's in prison, and he's held in prison by this one guy. He gets towed along with the adventure. Wonderful, loud guy. He's goofy. Gets killed by a scarab. That guy is in Sky Captain in the World of Tomorrow on their adventure, and they make it to Shangri-La.
So
Fucking
you guys,
shit.
I have to admit something. I know we talked about it just a couple of months ago. I don't remember a fucking thing about Sky Captain in the World of Tomorrow. Don't remember a fucking thing about it. What I remember about this movie is, oh, the yak yacked.
Stop.
Oh, yeah, that was the line, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, and the fact that that's in the movie for like a whole split second as a joke, like you don't even have time to simmer, and we're already in another place. I just feel like I'm not in with the adventure. I feel like I'm just, using one of those little view scope things. You click the little handle on the side, like, oh shit, Egypt and whatnot.
That's pretty much right. Let's throw in a few little pieces of exposition, much like this movie drops them into us. There's a single dagger that's the only way that can kill the Emperor. It just turns out the ninja lady, she has it. Also, we know that the Emperor is trying to get to the pool of eternal life, and that's at Shangri-La. And he's got this diamond that he has to plug into this thing to figure out which direction Shangri-La is in, and that's where we're headed now. And that tells us exactly how this movie's going to end, isn't it?
Yeah, 100%. And then we get that guy from Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? And he says, do not seek the treasure. But they do anyways.
Yeah, they just go for it, and then like shit hits the fan arbitrarily, then everybody just takes a tumble.
Oh, that's me. What I've got here today is from Brewery X. For their 4th anniversary, this is Tumble Time. It's a West Coast style IPA, 7.0% alcohol by volume. This has got Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles on the can. There's a ninja in this. It fits, damn it. Definitely got those Citra hops. It's a little bit piney, a little bit resinous. Not over the top in any direction. Honestly, there's not really anything remarkable about this beer, much like there's nothing remarkable about this movie, so it fits again. Let's go.
Let's go indeed, though. And by that, I mean another location. But I do want to pause just a little bit when they're in the Himalayas, because they get to the gate of Shangri-La and all that garbage. And we do meet up with this like gang of Yetis that we befriend fucking immediately for whatever reason. Like they storm into the frame and you're like, oh, all right, trouble. Let's see where this goes. Nah,
no,
they're just a couple of fellas playing foosball.
Well, no, what happens is the ninja lady, the girl, she like whistles for them, and I guess she has like a pre-existing communique with these Yetis, because she's like, hey, we got some bad guys coming up behind us. Can you help us out? And they're like, oh yeah, all right. Oh,
Wow. Ninjas, they like to squatch.
She called out to them like, and they came a-running.
I'll tell you, her family's been guarding this tomb for 2,000 years. At some point in those 2,000 years, she has fucked a Yeti. No doubt about it. She's tried it out.
Oh my god. What's this so specific?
I haven't been this excited about primates on the cast since Chim Chim in Speed Racer.
Ooh.
All right.
And this movie's speed racing through scenes like crazy. I'll give it that much.
Yeah, there's a big fight. Nothing. There's still like a half hour, 45 minutes of screen time left, so we know nothing bad's gonna happen. Brendan Fraser gets a ice spike in the ribs or something, so he has to be carried out of there. And
I'm just gonna chalk it up to this movie just having no stakes, because like not only is the antagonist just kind of whatever, even though Jet Li's a cool guy, he's not scary or intimidating at all. The Yetis show up and make quick fucking work of everybody who's not the O'Connells. And as soon as Brendan Fraser gets stabbed, he's injured for a whole 2 minutes of screen time. Is like, yeah, I just fixed him. I can do that. It's almost like this whole thing just shouldn't have happened.
Well, to be fair, they take him to Shangri-La, and that's how he gets fixed up. She's a witch, so...
And you said that CGI, it wasn't as atrocious as that one. But man, in this Mummy, Jet Li, versus Witch scene, it gets some Return of the Scorpion King vibes when he turns into this fucking muddy, almost Mortal Kombat Annihilation quality 5-headed dragon.
Yeah, Clay Fighter 64. That's all that was. I'm actually surprised it looks worse than The Rock in The Mummy Returns. Like when he's the
I don't-
Scorpion King at the end.
I don't think it does at all, honestly. Like, this doesn't
Really?
look good. This doesn't look good. It's like a 3-headed, stupid-looking dragon. It doesn't look worse than The Rock.
Okay, that's fine. I'm talking about like when he gets all like liquefied, like the T-1000 starts bubbling like crazy, like he's about to explode.
Oh yeah, that looks real bad.
Yeah, he just looks like he's covered in caca.
I have that he explodes into a pool of viscera.
Okay, if we're talking about his death scene, I lost my shit because he gets all bubbly and gross and explodes, and then you see Brendan Fraser's face, and I swear to God, all I could think was, the kiss from the end of Ernest Scared Stupid when he's like, eh.
Yeah, it looked pretty nasty, a little snotty, I don't know, 3,000-year-old emperor just on your shirt. You don't want that.
Ew.
That's not gonna come out.
Gotta wash it all down with some Bulgarian Miak.
I bet you didn't think I could get it this time of year.
No, she's got it on tap. Trust me, she knows a Yeti.
He knows a Yeti. Yes.
We got a nonstop battle here on out. Like, Michelle Yeoh dies. Spoilers, Michelle Yeoh dies. Because she has to make her and her daughter unimmortal now in order to kill the emperor. Why are they making up these random-ass arbitrary rules? Oh, there's one dagger that can kill him. There's one dagger, except I've got a second dagger. There's a second one. What the fuck, guys?
It's because the movie just fucking sucks. Like, the idea from the get-go doesn't work. So what the movie tries to do is subvert your expectations, and that's what it's relying on for the entertainment. It keeps going in these like weird little circles where it's like, oh shit, something dramatic happens, and it's resolved shortly after. Nothing works. So when we get to that fight scene where it's Jet Li versus Michelle Yeoh, there's just no stakes. There's nothing. And we hard cut to the O'Connells in the middle of the desert just like mowing clay pots down like it's an anger room or something. There's never a point where we're like, oh man, this might be it. And then the movie just wraps up.
Yeah, we get a little bit of a fight where it starts to look like, oh, maybe the bad guys have the advantage. Except, nope. Here's Alex and Ninja Girl, and they have motorcycles and machine guns.
I was having such a hard time watching Brendan Fraser's face as the franchise he built crumbles like the pottery people he is destroying. It's a sad day for Rick O'Connell fans everywhere.
I got a question. Okay, so Michelle Yeoh, she's a witch. She did this spell to bring back the former army that the Emperor buried like 2,000 or 3,000 years ago, whatever. So they're resurrected. They're like zombie soldiers or something. Whatever. They're fighting against the clay army soldiers. When the Emperor dies, all of the soldiers that he cast his spell on, they die with him. Like a vampire and all of his brood, they all go at once. Why didn't the zombie soldiers that Michelle Yeoh reanimated, why didn't they die when she died?
Magic.
Magic, I guess, yeah.
The movie doesn't give a shit. It never did. That's just, it has to be something like that. Like, right? Because, like, clearly, it makes the most sense in context. So, like, after you view the movie, you're left with all these questions, just like, huh? What? Why? How? Man, Brandon looks pretty fucking displeased by this whole adventure.
I guess you could take it as they were out for vengeance, and his army was in servitude of him. So when he died, they died.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Hey, look, I'm trying to give it some substance. I know it's not there. I'm trying.
Yeah.
No, like we appreciate it. It's just really rough to see a movie that clearly looks like it was wildly expensive to make just drop the ball so hard.
2,000-year-old Chinese emperor martial artist Jet Li is defeated with soccer hooligan headbutts.
Soccer hooligan headbutts. Ole, ole, ole. Ooh, and he's out. That's the movie.
I guess you're right about this movie looking like it costed a lot of money. And I feel like it's pretty close to being like good, but they just didn't think that through long enough. They were like, all right, this is a product. We got to get it to market. We don't have time to beta test. Here you go.
Beta test. Yeah, this is a beta movie. This isn't polished at all. They have these pieces that they put in there like of reminders of what this movie shoulda, coulda been.
Did you guys like how at the very end there's like a little plop on the screen of words, and it says there were mummies discovered in X location. Like they're gonna make another one.
Jonathan's like but spoiler, Jonathan ends up with the diamond because he's the greedy one. Ends up with the diamond and is like, all right, I'm out of here. Keep me away from all these fucking mummies. Y'all guys are mummy magnets. I'm getting out of here. Going someplace that they don't ever have mummies. I'm going to Peru. Later that year,
And the
mummies were found in Peru.
Yeah, I was gonna say, and the mummy just gets real close to the mic. And there were mummies in Peru. Credit.
Yeah.
You know? It's such a bullshit move. Like it tries to be clever and witty, almost like the characters themselves, but it just comes off as just hacky.
Dude, you know what would have been even better if it was like, I'm going somewhere where there aren't mummies, and instead of like it being like there were mummies in Peru, it said 2 weeks later, Jonathan died of anal cancer. It just closed out there.
Jonathan left on his adventure to Peru. Unfortunately, he had a layover in Cairo and was stranded there for 6 weeks, where he was killed by mummies. He deserved. No, that's about it.
No, he deserved. I think everybody deserved better. Everyone who wasn't switched or whatever else, all the legacy characters, they were just boiled down to their basic traits. Like Jonathan was literally just like, "Oh, gold! Oh, a fucking diamond!" or whatever. It's just like there's nothing else. There's nothing else there.
I like the Shangri-La place. I could put a casino here.
Oh, that's something I would say being a piece of shit too. I was like, all right.
What are the What are the Yetis going to gamble with? What is their currency?
Yen?
Moon pies.
Pies and yen.
Pies.
They just
Man, I
got
haven't
'em.
had a moon pie in forever.
They come floating down the Silk Road. Don't worry about it.
You know, I had a good time during the movie, mostly because it's episode 200, and I was thinking of fun ways to tie this back into other movies that we had a blast on. The Mummy 1 and Mummy 2 had a lot of genuinely fun laughs in them. Had great times with those movies. The franchise, to me, whatever, take it or leave it. It's fine. I did enjoy the times that we got to spend discussing the films and things like that. And again, I enjoyed this discussion of this film, even though I wasn't a huge fan. What should have been a Shanghai for this franchise was instead a Shangri.
Oh, I knew it was coming.
Yeah.
I'm on the far end of the spectrum on that one. Like, I enjoyed going over with you guys. I didn't enjoy the movie at all. I think it fucking sucks. It's a total and complete character assassination of the entire series. It lives up to nothing. It's not sexy at all. Not a fucking moment of it. I think that's what pissed me off the most. Because, the first two at least have some charm along the adventure. Like, you get that gilded feel, through the whole thing. This, it's flat. Pacing sucks. Character sucks. Pass.
Yeah, I didn't have that quite a strong of a reaction. I think this kind of fits in with the other two movies fairly well. It is probably the worst of the three, but I didn't hate it. That being said, I didn't really think about what I was watching too much. I was just along for the ride. I knew that this had a 13% on Rotten Tomatoes, and I think it's a little bit better than that, but it's not a good movie, but it's stupid. It's fun. Watch it or not, I don't care.
Well, there you have it. That was The Mummy, Tomb of the Dragon Emperor. If you have any strong feelings of the movie or the show, leave it in that comment section below.
Oh, that's me. Shit. Make sure you hit the like and subscribe button. Be sure to bash the bell icon or whatever your equivalent is so you don't miss what we have brewing up next time.
Get out there and follow us on social media. We got all that shit. And you can find us anywhere podcasts are available, including YouTube. Give us a shot. We're pretty funny sometimes. And if you don't, then we're going to have to exert our furry vengeance upon you.